If you stand at the Trocadéro in Paris, you're looking at the most carefully orchestrated view on Earth. These are the Warsaw Fountains, firing massive water jets directly toward the Eiffel Tower. This entire esplanade, the wide terraces and aligned water cannons, was built for the 1937 International Exhibition for one specific reason: to act as the world's most expensive picture frame for the monument across the river. Despite its current fame, the city of Paris originally scheduled this monument for demolition. It began as a temporary showpiece with a strict 20-year lease, an expiration date that the tower has now outlived by over a century. In 1887, before construction was even finished, the French cultural establishment was horrified by what was rising over their city. Famous figures like the writer Alexandre Dumas signed an angry public petition denouncing the proposed structure as a gigantic black factory chimney that would ruin the Parisian skyline. The sheer scale of the project offended them. Gustave Eiffel's team was assembling 7,300 tons of iron, securing it all with 2.5 million hand-driven rivets. Every piece was manufactured in a factory outside Paris and then brought to the Champ de Mars to be bolted together. This massive prefabricated kit allowed the builders to complete the entire enormous job on a blistering 2-year schedule. But Eiffel didn't own the land. He only held a 20-year operating lease. The contract included a firm, legally mandated demolition date of 1909. From the moment it opened to the public, the tower was on death row. It faced a ticking countdown against both public disgust and an ironclad legal contract. To save his creation, Eiffel executed a brilliant public relations pivot. He stopped arguing with the artists about beauty and instead defended his structure as an advanced instrument of meteorology and aerodynamics. This animated diagram illustrates exactly how that defense worked. A solid structure of this height would catch wind like a massive sail. Eiffel's open lattice ironwork is a highly functional engineering choice. Air passes straight through the gaps, drastically cutting wind resistance. Because of that lattice, even during extreme wind events, the top of the tower sways only 6 to 7 centimeters. Eiffel's team had calculated wind loads before most engineers even had the tools to do so. He even physically branded the structure with science. Just beneath the first balcony, he engraved the names of 72 French scientists, mathematicians, and engineers in gold letters 2 feet tall. By treating the tower as an objective scientific laboratory rather than subjective art, Eiffel built his very first defense against the wrecking ball. The real test arrived in 1909. With the 20-year lease expiring, the Paris City Council actively began making plans to tear it down and redevelop the park underneath. Eiffel made a desperate final bet. He installed a high-altitude antenna at the summit to prove the tower could operate as a powerful radio mast. The military realized they had the tallest wireless communication point in Europe right in the middle of their capital. 5 years later, that radio equipment paid massive dividends. When World War I broke out, the structure served as a vital communications hub, transmitting signals that helped coordinate French operations across the Western Front. Its strategic importance made it a prime target. During World War II, as the Allies approached occupied Paris, Adolf Hitler issued a direct order: destroy the Eiffel Tower completely. The German military governor of Paris, General Dietrich von Schultitz, received the command to dynamite the monument along with the rest of the city. He quietly disobeyed, leaving both intact as the Allied forces arrived. The tower survived these conflicts because its antennas had become indispensable military infrastructure, giving it a value that its artistic critics never recognized. Maintaining this massive iron framework requires a continuous cycle of physical labor. It functions as a working piece of infrastructure, needing constant human intervention to survive the elements. Roughly every 7 years, a team of painters spends 18 months applying 60 tons of paint by hand. Without this grueling maintenance cycle, the iron would rapidly succumb to structural corrosion. This animation shows how they apply the official color, Eiffel Tower brown. It's actually an optical illusion. The painters use 3 distinct shades, darkest at the bottom and getting progressively lighter towards the summit, so the silhouette appears uniform against the changing sky. Further up, past the fresh paint, sits a private apartment Eiffel built on the 3rd level. It lacks a bedroom because he never lived there. It was an elite workspace used for atmospheric experiments and hosting VIPs, like Thomas Edison. The monument's sheer permanence relies entirely on this meticulous, unglamorous regime of physical upkeep and calculated visual tricks. Even the identity of the tower continues to evolve as Paris works to correct the historical oversights of its creator. In 2026, the city announced an initiative to engrave the names of 72 women scientists, including luminaries like Marie Curie and Sophie Germain, finally bringing them to the Iron Lattice alongside the historic all-male original list. It's a striking contrast. During the occupation, Hitler famously refused to climb the tower's steps. Today, 7 million people travel from across the globe every single year to ascend it. The Eiffel Tower beat its 1909 death sentence and outlasted its fiercest critics. It proves that sometimes a bold idea just requires time for the rest of the world to catch up to it.